Welcome back to our channel. It's Jeanette and Dean here from Aussie Travellers. We've spent a couple of days checking out the Brisbane River and the ferry system. Brisbane is known as the River City, and a lot of its activities and leisure time for Brisbaneites is based around the river. It's 344 kilometres long and winds its way through numerous suburbs, including the city, and empties out into Moreton Bay. There's lots of relaxing activities to do along the river. Go for a walk, go to the park, coffee or a beer, even bike rides, and there's scooters as well. It really is a beautiful river to just take in all the views on the banks along the way. It isn't the bluest of rivers, it's actually quite brown, but there's some great spots to explore, so let's take a look. Just near this ferry terminal is Brisbane's second oldest building, built in 1829 by local stone from Kangaroo Point. The building represents the commencement of the European settlement and is considered the birthplace of Brisbane. But that's time for another video, not this one today. This is all about the river. Brisbane City Council operates the ferry system, and there's 25 terminals both up and down the river from the CBD. When we visit a new city, we usually like to jump on a hop-on and hop-off bus. At the moment, Brisbane doesn't have one of those operating, but the ferry system is a great way to see a lot of Brisbane, and it's actually a lot more economical. If you check out their website, the prices are very reasonable. From North Quay, we go across to South Bank Parklands. This is a very popular spot for locals and tourists. There is the Eye, as you can see there. There's museums, the theatre, a big selection of restaurants and cafes. The sign, as you can see, get your selfie at the sign. The southern side of the river here was once a port and an industrial area and did spiral into disrepair. But in 1988, or just before 1988, when World Expo 88 was being hosted by Brisbane, it got a facelift, and it's super popular for locals and tourists. As we leave the South Bank ferry terminal, we head under the Goodwill Bridge. It's a pedestrian and cyclist bridge which connects South Bank to Gardens Point in the city. As we walked across the bridge, we got a different view of the city skyline. As we bend around the river, we come across Kangaroo Point. It's one of Brisbane's oldest suburbs. It's home to the Gabba for our cricket and AFL fans. This is a popular spot for abseiling, and a little bit further along from here there's a set of stairs that you can go up to with a cafe up the top and get some city views as well. A lot of people run up and down the stairs, but it's a little bit too energetic for me. The traditional owners of the land, the Turrbal people, call the river the Maiwa. Long before the European explorers arrived, they fished and hunted in the river, and it was their main food source. When John Oxley, a European explorer, arrived, he named the river the Brisbane River after the Governor of New South Wales at the time, Sir Thomas Brisbane. As we head further down the river, Story Bridge comes into view. We climbed Story Bridge a few years back, and at the time we didn't realise that there's only 3 bridges in the world where you can climb to the top. The other 2 are Sydney Harbour Bridge and Auckland Harbour Bridge in NZ. How cool is that? Although you're not allowed to swim in the Brisbane River, you can see there's lots of other ways that the locals enjoy it. In our opinion, a must-do when coming to Brisbane is the river walk at Howard Smith Wharves. The original walkway was washed away back in the 2011 floods, but it's been rebuilt and it's a beautiful walk of about 870 metres long, so it's not too bad, not too long. It's perfect for enjoying the views by the river, walking, riding a bike or a scooter as I mentioned before, or even some watercraft. You can get a ferry here, or you can actually drive to New Farm and park up in Sydney Street. Highly recommend it. Built back in 1922, the Bulimba Ferry Terminal, along with its neighbour, the Hawthorn Terminal, are both Queensland Heritage listed buildings. The terminals are a small-scale illustration of a architecture known as Federation Queen Anne style. In that style, it's typical to have red terracotta roofs, asymmetrical gables, white painted window frames and front verandas with decorative trim features and fretwork. This terminal also has a clock, and when it was put in, about 100 years ago, it was mainly there for the passengers so they could make sure they were on time for the ferry, because a lot of people back then didn't actually own watches.
As we head up north from North Quay Terminal, we come to the Kangaroo Bridge. A tensegrity style bridge is the world's largest. The $63 million structure uses tension from cables and stays to form an incredibly light but incredibly strong structure. Many people say that it looks like the sails of a ship, or the hat worn to keep away magpies in Australia.
The next bridge along is the William Jolly Bridge, and originally it was called the Grey Street Bridge. It was constructed with the intention of building tram lines over it. Luckily it never occurred. The bridge is an important link between South Brisbane and the city, and in 1996 was put on the Queensland Heritage Register. Just up here on the left is the gas stripping tower, and this tower was built back in 1912 in Yorkshire in the UK. It's made out of cast iron and was moved here to Brisbane in segments from the UK, and what it was used for was to strip ammonia and tar from raw coal gas. It's the only surviving gas stripping tower left in Australia. As you can see, there's a lot to explore on the Brisbane River. So whether you're visiting Brisbane or you live here, I'd suggest you jump on a ferry and find your favourite spot along the river. Let us know in the comments what your favourite spot is. Hope you enjoyed coming along and seeing what the river had to offer. If you liked this video, hit the like button and help our channel grow by subscribing to the channel. Cheers, and we'll see you somewhere else out and about.